Marcus never expected a $500 dragster to change his life. The battered machine sat beneath a tarp behind his Detroit garage, missing panels, carrying mismatched tires, and covered with rust. Marcus, a black single father raising daughter Ava, bought it because he believed broken machines deserved one more chance to race. The dragster belonged to a retired racer who couldn't afford repairs. Marcus saw potential where everyone else saw scrap metal. He spent evenings rebuilding the engine after finishing customer jobs. Ava sat doing homework, listening to tools click and engines cough. Their dream was simple: make the machine move again. One Saturday morning, a convoy of expensive race cars arrived outside Marcus's Detroit garage. At the center stood Victoria Grant, a wealthy CEO known for winning drag events. She stepped from her luxury SUV wearing a spotless racing suit and glanced at Marcus's battered dragster with obvious amusement that afternoon. Victoria had come searching for a mechanic capable of preparing her championship car. Her team had heard Marcus could diagnose engines by sound alone. But when she saw his $500 dragster, she laughed. "You actually think that thing belongs on a track?" she asked, loudly enough for everyone there nearby. Marcus wiped grease from his hands and calmly explained that the dragster only needed the right work. Victoria folded her arms. "Fix that $500 dragster and keep it," she mocked. "If you can make it competitive, I'll personally let you race against me today." Marcus accepted immediately, before everyone watching. The crowd immediately gathered around the garage. Victoria's crew laughed while Marcus opened the dragster's engine compartment. He didn't argue or insult anyone. Instead, he inspected every connection, listened carefully, and began replacing damaged components. Ava watched proudly, knowing her father never allowed other people's opinions to determine his confidence. Marcus discovered that the engine's biggest problem wasn't its age. A previous owner had installed incompatible fuel components, causing inconsistent pressure. Marcus removed them and rebuilt the system using affordable parts. Victoria's expression slowly changed. The man she had mocked was solving problems her expensive team had overlooked repeatedly again. 2 hours later, Marcus rolled the dragster toward the track. It looked rough beside Victoria's polished race car, but its engine sounded stronger than before. Marcus climbed into the driver's seat and tightened his harness. Ava stood behind the safety barrier, holding her father's old racing gloves and silently praying. Victoria approached Marcus before the race. She reminded him that her car cost more than his house, and her team had spent months preparing. Marcus smiled. He said racing wasn't about the price of the machine. It was about understanding what the machine needed and trusting yourself completely today. The starting lights flashed. Victoria launched first, her powerful car screaming forward. Marcus reacted instantly. His dragster initially struggled, but seconds later the rebuilt engine found its rhythm. The crowd erupted as the cheap machine gained speed. Victoria glanced sideways and realized Marcus wasn't participating. He was challenging her seriously. Marcus kept the dragster steady as both cars approached the final stretch. Victoria pushed harder, expecting her superior equipment to settle the contest. Marcus remembered every late night, every broken part, and every moment Ava had watched him work. He shifted perfectly, and the dragster surged forward with startling force. The finish line arrived almost immediately afterward. Marcus crossed first by a narrow but unmistakable margin. The crowd fell silent before exploding into cheers. Victoria slowed her car and stared at the scoreboard. Her expensive race machine had lost to a $500 dragster that she had mocked only minutes earlier. Marcus climbed from the cockpit without celebrating wildly. Ava rushed toward him, and he lifted her into a hug. She shouted that her dad had won. Marcus laughed and told her that the real victory was proving they didn't need expensive equipment to compete with people who had every advantage. Victoria approached them slowly, her confidence replaced by embarrassment. She admitted that she had judged Marcus because of his old car, modest garage and clothing. Marcus told her everyone makes mistakes. What mattered was whether someone had enough courage to recognize the mistake and become better afterward, honestly, in truth. Instead of demanding another race, Victoria asked Marcus for advice. Her car had developed a recurring problem that her engineers couldn't solve. Marcus examined the data and noticed a pattern. The issue came from heat buildup affecting a component during repeated runs. His solution was simple and inexpensive for everyone. Victoria's team followed Marcus's recommendation, and the problem disappeared. Victoria offered Marcus a contract to become her racing division's technical consultant. Marcus considered it. He wanted better opportunities for Ava, but he also wanted control over his time. He refused the contract and suggested another path. Marcus proposed creating a community racing program for young mechanics who couldn't afford expensive training. Victoria listened carefully. He wanted students to learn fabrication, engine diagnostics, safety, and racing discipline. He believed talent existed everywhere, but opportunity didn't. Victoria agreed to fund the program if Marcus would lead it personally. Within months, Marcus's small garage became a respected training center. Young mechanics arrived after school and on weekends, learning from Marcus and Victoria's engineers. Ava helped organize events and eventually developed an interest in automotive design. The $500 Dragster remained in the center, proudly displayed as a reminder forever. Victoria and Marcus eventually became close friends, connected by racing and mutual respect. Victoria never again judged a vehicle by its appearance or an owner by their resources. Marcus never forgot the day she mocked his Dragster. Instead, he remembered it as the moment she accidentally gave him his opportunity. Years later, the Dragster still carried its scratched body panels and mismatched parts. Marcus refused to replace them because they represented its history. Beside it hung a photograph of him and Ava after that unforgettable race. The caption read, "Never underestimate what determination can build from almost nothing together."